Okay, and so our final presentation for the evening, before we move on to the last little section of activities, is from Rashad. And so Rashad finished his undergraduate in civil engineering at U of T this past spring. While at U of T, he was involved with various sustainability student groups and in research supporting the U of T Committee on Environment, Climate Change, and Sustainability. Rashad is starting as a building science engineer at RDH Building Science in Vancouver this January. And I know he just arrived in Vancouver, so welcome to the West. Well, I'm not in the West, but have fun out West. And so I'm going to pass it off to Rashad.
Thanks, Noah. Here we go. All right, y'all can still hear me? Cool. Yes. So thanks for putting this all together. My presentation is gonna, I think, veer a little sideways from the building-focused research we've seen. That's all been really interesting. But I guess I hope that in talking about the Sustainable Development Goals and the university sustainability research I've worked on, we can think about how our kind of buildings-focused research can both have an impact beyond climate sustainability and also can be applied on our university campuses where in normal times we spend a lot of our lives. So as Noah mentioned, I did some years of research during my undergrad for the U of T Committee on Environment, Climate Change, and Sustainability, which we pronounce CECCS, not sex. And so this was a university-wide committee formed by the president of U of T in response to the divestment movement. And its goal is to facilitate an integration of both academic and operational activities. So that's the teaching and learning on the one hand, and also the campus operations and facilities that they have. The membership of the committee is pretty diverse. It includes faculty, but also operational staff from the Facilities and Services Division and student research assistants. So it's drawing on expertise and contacts from across campus. The three subcommittees kind of outline the prerogatives, the focus of the committee. So agent of change is looking at how the university can be an agent of change in its community. Campus as a living lab is looking at how we can increase our research on U of T campus and using the university campus as a hotbed for sustainability initiatives and sustainability research. And the last one is curriculum innovation, which is about how we can improve sustainability education. This poster down on the side is a little promo stuck in for the committee's sustainability celebration that's ongoing right now. They have events every couple of weeks and talking about sustainability initiatives at U of T. And one of the next ones is a conversation about divestment with the U of T president. So that might be interesting. The kind of framework for sustainability that the committee embraces is the Sustainable Development Goals. You may have heard of them. They were put forward by the United Nations in 2015, I think. There's 17 goals that outlines a broad vision of sustainability that puts things like no poverty and zero hunger alongside climate action, alongside sustainable cities and communities, alongside gender equality. So it's a great kind of framework to help us think about and understand how these different aspects of sustainability are very interrelated. And it's not just about the environment, but human well-being is also a critical component to when we talk about what is sustainable. So the bulk of my work was developing an SDG-based course inventory and research inventory. The intention of these inventories was to increase the visibility of existing sustainability courses and researchers at the university. We developed them using a keyword search, and the sustainability course inventory is available for undergrads online. We also published an article about it. This little snip at the bottom is something I thought was interesting. It's from the Times Higher Education impact rankings. So these are one of the global university rankings. And it was just interesting because U of T was collecting data because, of course, U of T likes to think of itself as the best at everything. So they wanted to put together all this data on how U of T is advancing the Sustainable Development Goals. So that was kind of, in the end, one of our motivators for doing the research inventory. But the inventories were also tools. The course inventory was used to create sustainability curricular pathways. So you can see this screenshot here is the course inventory online, and it shows which SDGs each course covers. And that was used to select multidisciplinary courses to create undergraduate certificate programs at the university. By selecting these courses that we'd identified, and to create different curricular pathway options for students no matter their degree program, whether it was English or architecture or engineering. We used the research inventory as a tool to create an invitation list for kind of a research networking event that the university is hosting in the next couple weeks. It's based on the 17 Rooms event, which was it's a model designed by the Rockefeller Foundation and the Brookings Institute. But the idea is to bring together experts on each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, one in each room, to talk about how to advance the goals. And at U of T, there's desire to kind of have some activities to develop proposals for teaching around the SDGs, for research and community engagement activities. So these are two examples of how we've taken these inventories, which are in one sense just Excel spreadsheets, but in another sense have really been a helpful resource in kind of expanding the our tendrils of sustainability across the institution. And my last kind of thought reflection on the SDGs is that while there's 17 goals that are quite precise and lay out a really broad framework for how we understand sustainability, it's also important to remember that in approaching them and adopting the framework, there are very interdependent coupling of human and technical and natural systems. There's a couple of great articles I've referenced here that look at kind of synthesizing the 2030 agenda that talks about the goals and how you can use scoring or network mapping techniques to look at connections between them, or how to kind of synthesize them into 5 or 10 smaller kind of more thematic approaches, because like one of the interesting findings I've seen is that reduced inequalities is kind of one of the keystone goals to achieving many of the other SDGs, whether it's climate action or protection of life on land or quality education or gender equality. So that's kind of an overview of what we're kind of hoping to push forward or pushing forward in terms of the sustainability vision at U of T. And I think it's an opportunity to kind of put our sustainability research, specifically on buildings or other topics, in a kind of broader context of what we're working towards when we're working towards sustainability. So I hope that was interesting. I'm happy to answer any questions or try to connect that to other things we spoke about today.